Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Tarot Time. Happy Monday. Did everybody have an enjoyable Mother's Day? I'm going to be offering a Find Your Soulmate test. So if you're not a member of the tarotbridge.com, please sign up so you can get the test in your email. It's easy. It's a fun test. It's not like an algebra test or anything. And take it. We're going to be sending out a lot of little spiritual building sort of challenges. I guess that's a word for them. So if you're not signed up, please do. Okay, so today is Monday, the 12th. I believe it's full moon in Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken. Scorpio is associated with the death card, and that's all about transformation. Remember, death doesn't mean death in tarot anyway. Death means transformation. It means taking something, a situation, a person, whatever, and it talks about transforming them. Okay. It talks about making them better, making you better. I always go, the analogy of the chubby kid. So it takes the chubby kid and he goes on a diet. He's still the same kid, but he doesn't have that extra weight anymore, which gives him some self confidence. So, speaking of self confidence, I don't know if any of you are following the Karen Reed trial. It's up in my neck of the woods in Massachusetts. She's accused of running over her boyfriend, who's a cop, and he was at a house with cops, and they're saying she's framed. I kind of leaning towards she's framed too. I think that there's more to the story. It's funny, I have these spidey senses, and when I watch things, I'm going, yeah, you know what? It's not quacking like a duck. And it's actually pretty funny because I got called for jury duty, and I'm waiting for when I get up on the stand and the judge says to me, "So, Miss Petrie, what do you do for a living?" And I will tell him what I do. But anyway, so the defense is trying to build, they're trying to just put like confusion in the jury. I guess they call it that. They're trying to show that, which is true. She was having some sort of texting, online flirting with another cop, and that other cop, she kind of ghosted him. He was kind of into her, and they're trying to show that maybe he had a fight with her boyfriend, who is now no longer with us. All different twists and turns. But um, there's a state trooper who said to the defense attorney that these texts were not flirty. Okay. So the defense attorney, the guy's like brilliant. He makes him read them all. Cringeworthy at best. Like, just think about stuff you have text personally with somebody, and then they're all for public view. So it was cringeworthy at best. And what I came away from, and I didn't hear all of them. I probably heard like 80, 85%. Um, but the woman, I believe Karen Reed is early 40s, I'm going to say. Here's a woman who was in a relationship where she needed to get out of. I don't know if it was proven whether or not he cheated on her, but the point is she constantly thought he was. Now whether he gave her reason to believe it or not, she just always was. She was always worried that he was cheating on her. So I don't know why she sought outside the relationship. I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. So she sought outside the relationship and she started having this kind of online thing. And part of the online conversation, the texts were, I think he referred to her as pretty. And she said, "Oh, you think I'm pretty?" And it was like she was fishing for compliments at one point. It just looked like she was fishing for compliments. And I said to myself, that's sad, because usually by the time you get into your 40s or whatever, you should pretty much know what you bring to the table. Okay. And if you don't, you should work on it. And I always like to help women when I work on it, because when I read for a lot of females too, I know they're down. I know. And I always say to them, I say, I don't understand it. You're so smart. You're so pretty. You have like so much to give. And yet you allow this into your life. And I think let's take care and read and put it towards the tarot. So I read for a lot of women that have these tumultuous relationships, and they get these cards like the Tower, the Devil, like hard hitting cards. And I believe with the universe, they will, if they want you out of a situation, they guide you. Okay. And when they guide you, they make it more and more uncomfortable until you actually get to the point where you're like, all right, you know what? I'm done. I'm walking away. And I think that happened with her. If we think about what she said, if we think about their history, their background, it seems like, she definitely was being guided by universe to kind of get out of it. And then sometimes the universe just puts a smackdown on you. And this is what happened with her. She got framed. She didn't want to go into the party with him for whatever reason. I mean, first of all, I'm just amazed that people are out, they're drinking, it's 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and then they're like, hey, come on over my house for a party. And I'm thinking, unless it's a pajama party, it's not happening. It's just not happening. So I really feel for this girl for a lot of different reasons, because I think she got involved with someone who wasn't able to give her, he wasn't able to bring to the table what she was bringing. And I mean, I don't know them personally, and I've never read for them, and I've never read on the situation, but she wasn't able to get from him what she wanted, and she kept trying to. So I want a lot of you to think, because I know a lot of you. I read for you. How many times have you, tried to fit that square peg into a round hole? I mean, I've done it a few times, and only to realize that, it's just, no, it's not going to work, um so I think that's a good thing for today, for you to realize that, how many times are you trying to fit that square peg into a round hole? And once you know your value, that's where a lot of this comes to. Once you know your value, you end up, choosing better, I would assume. We would hope. You're like, I don't want that stuff anymore. And I got to tell you the truth. Whoops, Luna. When I heard, she left him voicemails because she dropped him off at this party. Okay. And then she went home, or went to his house, because he had a niece and nephew there that she was kind of helping with. They were older, though, I think, like teenagers. And he wasn't coming home, and she just assumed he was out, messing around with another woman, which is telling in itself. That's telling right there, that she assumed that. Oh, who wants to live like that? I've been down that road, and I would never want to go down it again. I love myself way too much to ever put myself through that again. And I hope my followers, male or female, have the same feelings towards yourself. I want you to love yourself so much that you will never allow someone else to put you in that situation again. Okay. All right. So let's see what we have for the tarot. We're just going to draw one card today because I yip yap too much. Ooh, Six of Cups. This is a return of something. Six of Cups is a situation, a person that comes back into our life. Okay. This is somebody who's going to come around, and they have a couple of offers for you. And the offers are getting bigger, as you could see by the flower, because this person knows they have history with you. Now, does it have to be love? It doesn't have to be. It could be anything from job to friendship, family. It's just somebody who knows they have stepped on your toes and wronged you, whatever way. I can't read for each individual ones. I'm not that good. And they know this, and they know that maybe the first offer isn't going to work, but they're going to, you know what? They're going to dip their toe in the water, this person, and they're going to try to see what's going on. They're going to try to see what's going on. Look at her hands. See how they're up against her chest? Few things. One, she's not receptive. So the first offer, I think you're probably going to ignore the person, but you're also crossed over your heart, which tells me as you're protecting your heart. So this person probably hurt your heart at some point. So you have this coming back around. Only you can put the stop to it. You can do it. It's very easy. In today's technology, it's very easy. All right, everyone. This is Coffee and Tarot time. I am Queen of Wands. It is Monday. Everybody have a great day.